It is Tuesday, March 5th, 2024, and from the home studio in Middletown, Delaware, I'm Marshal Manlove from My Sports Reports. This being a special interview edition of our show, and we're going to meet the head coach of one of the most successful high school athletic programs in the country, if not even in the history of the country, here shortly. But first, my friends, this is brought to you by me, Marshal Manlove, stage hypnotist. If you would like a funny, fascinating, and memorable experience for a party or an event that you're having, please consider my stage hypnosis show, details about which you can find at marshalmanlove.com. And if you are looking to buy or sell a home in Delaware, Maryland, or Pennsylvania, I can help you out there too. I don't have the page up though. But anyway, reach me through this website. If you want to move to Delaware, Maryland, or Pennsylvania, I can help you out. You want to move from here? Obviously, I can help you out there too. Now, hopefully, when I hit this next button, my guest will appear. He has appeared. No mistakes so far. It's good. I don't want to make any mistakes in front of somebody who has a history of great success. I would feel a little embarrassed about myself if I had done that. You are looking at Todd Larkin, the head swimming coach at St. Xavier's High School in Louisville, Kentucky, correct, Todd?
That is correct. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I remember hearing about your program a few years ago. At that time, I wasn't doing interviews with people outside the boundaries of my home state, but when I saw that your team had the success again this year, I wanted to reach out to you and get to meet you here. So the headline that grabbed my attention was one where your team had won your 36th consecutive Kentucky State Championship. That's unbelievable. I don't know of any other current streaks like that. I should probably look, but it has to be one of the top, if not the top, in the country.
It is the top. Bulls in Florida is identical with us at 36, and actually the Carmel girls are, I believe, at 38, but we are in the top three.
So a program of historical note and value here that people will talk about for a long time after. Well, they're still talking about it now. They're going to talk about it for a long time, however long this streak ends. But so I wanted to talk to you because I love to talk to successful people. It helps me succeed, like kind of through osmosis, you know. Now, you were a graduate of that school there at St. Xavier's in what year?
In 86.
And was that a championship year for you then?
That's one of the little known facts. When I was here, the 4 years that I swam, we never won a state championship. They won when I was in 8th grade. They won when I was a freshman in college. The last team to lose was 88. I lost in 86. But then the streak began in '89. So I never won it was as a student here, but have been blessed to obviously come back and coach. And redemption, I guess, was very much on the mind when I took the job.
And now, how long have you been the head coach?
I've been here 15 years.
So you inherit a program that in which you participated when you were a kid, and then had 21 years of success. So that's has to be a lot of pressure on you to take over a program that had that success. Can you talk about that part for me first?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to departmentalize that pressure. I think that I don't ever feel pressure in winning. I feel pressure. I think the biggest pressure of my job is delivering the overall athletic experience. You know, I think we built this strong winning tradition here and this program and this proud tradition where on our team, this a lot of times is going to be like the height of a student's athletic experience. And we want them to, whatever their ability level is, our true north is to max your potential. And that's one of the things where I do feel pressure, because every student that comes through our program, we want them to be able to max their potential, while they're here at St. X, and to gain, that experience that we promise, or that experience that, is kind of surrounded the hype around our program. We want to make sure we're delivering that experience. So, I've always felt like winning takes care of itself. If you do the little things right, and you stick to, your core values. So, and we've done that. I think we're very disciplined in that. So it's building that experience and making sure that all of these students here, feel a part of it, play a role, and believe and kind of buy into that tradition.
So, what were some of the things and values and traditions that you kept from your predecessor, and then things that you might have changed while you have been coach?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that, the team that I took over, it only won the state meet by 9 points. So, my first year, we were actually, expected maybe to lose. And so it was kind of a different first year for me. I came from the Lakeside Seahawks program, where I was the head age group coach, and they're a gold medal club in USA Swimming. So learned a lot of my kind of coaching philosophy, in that program, just, bringing a lot of quality. And I think one of the things that, I wanted to do was I wanted to really, motivate. I wanted to recruit athletes is what I wanted to do. And I think that that's the beauty of swimming, that, when you're entered in a meet, you're going to participate, unlike basketball or football, where you can be on the team and you can sit the bench and maybe never get in the game. Where that's different in, say, cross country or track or swimming, or what's considered some of the individual events. So, I think that was one of the big things where, we wanted all the kids to be involved. And I think really, I didn't really look to what was before me, or what had been built. I think that, our bar was always to be, have a national presence and be one of the top teams in the country. So we started building, foundation very, very early. And I think that, I'm a big core value guy. Our core values as a school, our school's been around 160 years. So it definitely has, tradition there. And I think our core values as a school are simplicity, humility, compassion, zeal, and trust. And that was handed down by the Xavier brothers. We took that and didn't really try to reinvent the wheel, but we have something we call the core four. And that's kind of evolved over time. And our core four are respect, excellence, culture, and details. And our team revolves around those four core values. And everything that we do is kind of seen through that lens. And so all of our decisions, all of our communication, all of our strategic initiatives are all built around that core four. So that was something that we wanted to get established and get established early. And I think that, the one thing that was inherited was the streak. But I think that it was really important to me that each year, I wanted to make sure that each team had their own identity. And we talk about that a lot here. The team 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 15 years ago really isn't going to get it done for you today. That you have to create that your own identity. And, I think coaching is a copycat profession. So I think that we learn, the more that we share from others. And I learned a lot from Krzyzewski, the basketball coach. He's one that builds standards. And that's one thing that we do every season is we throw out standards for the team. And I think standards promote teamwork. You can have a list of rules, and you can have rules to follow, or, you can choose to value that first core value and respect. I think respect solves a lot of problems. And if you're going to respect one another, then I don't think we need, 50 rules written down where everybody's got to, memorize those things. If your behavior is respectful, if you're respectful to your teammates, if you're respectful to your coaches, if you're respectful to your competition, if you're respectful to the facility, that solves a lot of problems. And I think that's one of the things that first and foremost we stress. And I think it's just building upon that. I'm a big pyramid guy. I teach business, so a little bit of psych in there with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but really gravitated to when I was an early coach, to Wooden's pyramid of success. And, how he built that pyramid around kind of those cornerstones of enthusiasm and industriousness, where, like, you have to work hard and you have to be excited about working hard. You have to have a passion to work hard. And basically, that's what gets you to the apex of that pyramid, being competitive greatness, where you're functioning fully as a team or as an individual, where you can fully contribute and you can max your potential. So a lot of our scheming, a lot of our plans, a lot of our standards, a lot of our building, and a lot of our culture, revolves around that foundation.
That's fascinating. That's a fascinating paragraph there that you just reeled off. So you mentioned that the school is there for 160 years. I know that prior to, I think now the school in total has won 61 of these state championships. On the website it says it was 60. I imagine you're going to add that one. But how long has the swimming program been there?
It's been since the 40s. I mean, so it's been around for a while. I believe the first title was 47. So it's been, it's been active since then. They used to, where Louisville sits on the Ohio River, and we brought someone back a few years ago from the first title team in the 40s, and he talked to our boys about, like, they were training in the Ohio River, which is like something you wouldn't want to do now, and trying to dodge driftwood and barges. And so I mean, it really kind of helps put in perspective for these guys, how lucky they are and how fortunate they are, and what some of those earlier teams that trained in basements of hotels, and where the chlorine was probably off the charts, and the chlormains and you couldn't breathe, and I mean, how lucky we are as a school, but and how fortunate our guys are. I mean, I think, and that's what I think, you want them to feel that gratitude, and I think that's where the tradition plays into your program, that you have so many that have gone before you, that you want to, you're kind of on the shoulders of giants, and what you're doing is that there's a constant passing of the torch, and I think that we're really connected with our alumni base here at St. X, and all of those guys that that have been a part of this. I just got literally a text from our school president, and our director of advancement is down in Austin right now, and they met up with a couple of our guys who swim for University of Texas, who just won a Big 12 championship this past weekend, and they're connecting with those guys. So it really is kind of a cool network. It's a cool tradition, and it matters. I mean, it matters to these boys, and it matters to these students. That they like I said, they want to see the program succeed. They want to build on that success, and it flat out matters to them. And that's one of the coolest things I think about the job, is to see them so invested in what we do, and how they contribute to that, and how they're praised for that contribution. I think that you don't win championships out of fear. You win championships out of positive reinforcement. We have a lot of positivity in our program. We have a lot of stick-to-itivity in our program, where we really push goal setting. And I think what kids, what they're trying to reach might be like right within their grasp, or right around the corner. They just have to stick to the process, and I think we have an excellent process here.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, the positive reinforcement wasn't the way that coaches that I dealt with handled coaching the team, various teams that I was on, and that might have made a difference, because I didn't really stick with sports as long as I had really wanted to. Not that I was a talented athlete or anything like that. So I do believe that it's a great thing that it has transitioned from the old school way of doing things to that philosophy of thinking, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think USA Swimming did a study years back where, like, why do most kids quit? And it's because of a bad relationship with a coach. I mean, so I think that shows you the power of influence that we have, and that we, that pool or that aquatic center is kind of our classroom. And, we have so much influence in there, and they're watching you all the time. They're watching you, how you interact with staff. They're watching you, how the vocabulary that you use. And I think that that's really important, to walk the line. And I think that, I heard Don Shula back in the day talk about, you can't expect more of the team than you do of yourself. So they have to see your investment, which I'm blessed to have an incredible coaching staff here. I do not do this alone. I have incredible coaches, and they give their heart and soul to this program. and the boys know it, and I know it, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But that's important. I think they have to see that as, from a leadership standpoint, what the leadership is doing, and I think to reach any elite level in life, it does take elite leadership, and I feel like they see that here at St. Axe.
I can tell for sure. So, just talking about the meet in particular. Now, you said that when you're in your first year there, you won by 9 points.
Well, that was the year before I got there.
Year before you got there?
I won by 9 points. Yeah, I think my first year was maybe like 120 or 130 or something.
Okay. And that's about what it was this year, too. So, I'm just looking at the team rankings, and it's not like only 5 or 6 teams compete here. You were up against looks like 32 other teams there in the state, and your total points 217. The second place team 91, and
actually this year, yeah, it was this year was we've scored maybe 560, or it was close to that or whatever.
Oh, wait a second.
Second place team was 170.
Oh, hang on.
171 or something. So yeah, it was a little.
Yeah.
The margin was about 360 points.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the first point. Yes, it was 562, and the second place team was 179, and it's 38 teams actually. Yeah, that scored points. I was on the wrong event there, and yeah, you didn't play around either. You won all, not the diving, but of the swimming, you won all. But it looks like 2 of the events there, with a few state records thrown in the mix. Want to talk about those particular state record events and the swimmers involved?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had some incredible speed at the top end, and I think that we have some boys that have incredible talent, but they really, really work hard. And I think we were prepared, and I think we knew the night before that we were going to see something special out of these boys, and they really they took it from the they took it from the opening bell. I mean, we kicked off the meet with a state record, and we ended the meet with a state record. And so I think I was really proud of them, and really proud of their preparation, proud of their communication, and proud of just swimming like a team. I mean, I think that I've always believed that swimming is a team sport. And I think that I know others may view it as an individual sport, but I think that, we have always put team first. We've always put a lot of emphasis on that team title and contributing to the team title. And you see that in the way we swim relays, and you see that how we, try to, pack as many as we can in the top 8 or the championship heat, that all these guys are working together. And I think that we had a really good plan. And, in Kentucky, we swim prelims in the morning, we swim finals at night. So it's not over 2 days like a lot of states that surround us. I mean, I know Indiana does prelims one day, finals the next day. I know Ohio does the same thing. I know Tennessee does the same thing. So, we're forced with the, we've got to make sure that we're on in the morning and then we're back on at night. And just really proud of our boys. I think to be able to do that and to be able to reach the success that we've had, I think it comes down to mental toughness. And I think that these boys I think that's one of the words that I would use to describe this team, is their mental toughness was off the charts.
Amazing. Yeah. So we just comparing eras again. You talked about how motivating kids is done more in a positive way these days than it was, when I was a kid in the 70s. But how about nutrition? How is that compared to from now to 70s or 80s when you were swimming there?
Well, I think it's gotten a lot different. I mean, I think that that's probably one of the components why kids are swimming faster. And I think that, they are putting more into nutrition. They're fueling their body with what they need to. And it's a lot different from when I swam, or, I was swam in the 80s. So, I'm not that far behind you, where, everything is prepared. Everything is designated. Everything, you have a plan for it, where, I don't know, when I swam, you pull up to McDonald's, like, in between prelims and fun, where now it's like everything is calculated. And I think that's important. And I think the other thing is, obviously I've seen hydration take up another, to another level, with these guys are, with I think that's a huge part of nutrition, is making sure you're hydrated. And I think that, these boys, they're always, they're always, setting themselves up for the next race. I think, with the hydration and the recovery and what they're fueling their bodies with. And it's like anything else. I mean, if you're gonna do something, max it out. Do it. Go all the 10 yards. Like maybe you might like junk food, but is that going to reach your goal? Or are you going to achieve your goal? I mean, don't. We're one of those teams, or we're one of those programs where we really convince kids to go all in. And I think that's to reach that certain level, or to try to knock down some of the times that we're trying to knock down, you have to be all in. Like, you can't be halfway in, or you can't have 1 foot in. So it is kind of a total sacrifice on their part, but one that we appreciate, and obviously one that we recognize.
Yeah, I have found that interesting over the last couple of years, how the successful athletes have taken nutrition very, very seriously, like that, and the hydration too. It's not a coincidence you mentioned that, but I had noticed that recently too. How many kids just talk about how much water that they're drinking, and
Yeah,
just staying away from the drive-throughs, for sure.
sure.
So you
No,
want to
it's,
mention some of the kids who had some of that success, so they can know that they've been acknowledged here in the middle of this conversation?
yeah, it's tough because I feel like there's we have a long list of kids, and I
Hmm.
think that but I think really, one of our guys, Johnny Crush, he was a senior. I know there's been a write up on him in Swimming World just this past month, or in February, and there was a big write up on Swim on him where, I think, going 42.7 in the 100 free, and going 45 mid in the 100 back. And, when he leads off the medley relay and goes 20.7 on the medley relay on the backstroke leg, you can just hear a gasp, drop out of the crowd. So, to swim that fast as a high schooler is amazing. But I think what Johnny does, not only, he's a West Point commit, so he's going to West Point next year, and is one of their highest recruits ever, as far as swimming goes. And I think that, it just shows, his commitment to, his future, and what type of leader that he is. And I think that, he's a team guy all the way. And I think that, so he was very instrumental in us reaching the success level, with this season. And then, we follow him with a couple of juniors. Thomas Mercer, who's a UVA commit, he went 143 in the 2IM, which was solid, and then a good 48 low. I'm sorry, I believe 47 high in the 100 fly. And once again, went to 21-1 on the relay split, in the fly leg on the medley, which kind of opened up the meet. So a strong performance out of him. It's tough. When you've got, to be MVP on our team, Johnny won 4 events and set 4 straight records. I don't think it gets any better than that as far as events go. And then we've got Alex Thiesing, who is a junior. He's a University of Michigan commit. Swam really well, 35 in the 2 free, which was a big boost for him. And then going 425 in the 500 was a solid swim and a solid performance for him. He just missed setting the 200 free state record by 4 100s, but he does come back. So he's a junior this year and be a senior next year. So looking forward to those guys. I think, we had some breakout performances by a couple sophomores who really stepped up and dropped a lot of time. Peyton Harrison had a breakout performance for us, and really had a solid, 2IM, getting second in the 2IM as a sophomore. That was great. And we had a freshman who'd never been under 50 in the 100 fly, went 49 in the morning, 49 low in the evening. So that was a big goal for him. And, we do these things. I don't know how active you are on social, but our social site at STX Tiger Swim, we're on Instagram and we're on Twitter, or I guess X now. We do these Tiger Talks that are pretty cool, where these guys kind of, talk about the team, talk about, the vibe, talk about, where they feel their race is right now. And it's cool to watch those back, because some of these kids really went out and hit their predictions. And so it was really cool. And like I said, a kind of another thing we kind of do with our students, and kind of how I guess I would call it executing excellence. We're big on leadership. We're big on really employing these team captains. And we're huge on kind of the social space as well.
Awesome. Well, I can definitely tell why that program is successful. Just based on this short conversation with you, you are an interesting person to hear speak about your sport and the philosophies behind coaching it there, and the values of the school that are a motivating factor for you and some of the kids as well there. So fill in any blanks for me if there are any. Feel free to mention anything that you might have left out because I didn't ask the right question.
No, I think you have some great questions. I really appreciate having me on. I think that, the one thing maybe that I haven't talked about is culture. And I think that that's something that, we're a big believer in, culture is the buzzword for, I guess for unity or team dynamics. And I think that's what our total buy-in is. We really, that is kind of, I don't know if it's a secret anymore, but I think that's where the process is revolves around that team culture. And I think that's what I'm more proud of, that, is in coaching here, is the culture that we've established, and, how the boys do respect one another, how they speak to one another, how they work together with one another. And that's something that, is one of the things that I do believe that we can lean on when adversity sets in, or when we feel like, we've got a tough competition, because, you can't rest where you are. I mean, you've got to consistently or constantly push that bar. And I think that's what we are. I mean, we're one of those teams that, we're always looking for that edge, or we understand what our competitive advantages are. And I think that, we're always trying to max those out, or trying to push those, as far as we can go. And that's what we call, I guess, when it's all over and done, a successful season. But a lot of great times this year. And I think that, really happy with the boys' performance, and just really happy how they continue the tradition here and just continue to add to our culture here at St. X. I mean, we're very fortunate that, a lot of times with our success, our school will put swimming on the front porch of the institution. So we do get a lot of attention around here because of our success. But I think it's like, you have to go in depth and you have to look at that success. And I think culture drives that excellence, and culture drives our success. So really proud of our boys, and really proud to mentor so many, fine young men, and really just have this, I'm blessed to be here, and very thankful for the opportunity and the opportunities that I've been given here at St. X. So a really special place, a unique place, an incredible job, and just an incredible atmosphere that we have here. So just, really just thankful to add to their tradition, and, hopefully we can keep this thing rolling.
Well, it's always good to see kids who have positive role models and good leaders guiding them into their futures. That's for sure. You're definitely a great example of that. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk about your program and the success that you've had there. I wish you continued success, and then hopefully you'll add on another championship next year. We'll bring you back and bring on some kids and hear from their mouths what they think about the whole program as well.
Oh, that'd be great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, sir. Wave goodbye to our growing fan base here at My Sports Reports, and then I'm going to hit end meeting for all, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your winter and a brilliant spring. All right, sir. Take care.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So that was Todd Larkin, the head coach of the St. Xavier swimming program in Louisville, Kentucky. They have won 36 state championships in a row, 60 since 1947. So 75% of the time since World War II, that team right there has won the boys' state championship in Kentucky. That's amazing. Would you like to recommend somebody to have a conversation with me here at My Sports Reports? Reach out to me at mysportsreports@gmail.com. If you have any items of interest, that is the address that you need to know. And now from the home studio, Middletown, Delaware, I am Marshal Manlove, and I'm out. Yeah, I'm out now. As soon as I hit this button.